Pearson has been in the news recently for helping to facilitate an insurrection at the Tennessee State House. You may have seen him, but you may not know what Justin Pearson was like before his transition. Back in 2016, Justin Pearson was an earnest young student at Bowdoin, the whitest college in the whitest state in America, a place that costs 60 grand a year for no obvious reason. A rich kid's school.
You're familiar with Tucker Carlson. You're probably familiar with where this is going to go. If you're not familiar with him, you might not know that this is going to become one of the most casually, openly racist segments on cable news that I'm familiar with. It's cloaked a bit by the fact that he's sitting at a desk in front of a big digital screen and he's wearing a tie. But these are the same ravings you'd hear from a drunk guy in a bar. That's all it is. See, Justin Pearson is an outspoken representative, and dear God, a black man at the same time, that can't be allowed. Tucker Carlson has very specific qualifications for you to actually be black, according to him. And so he feels he has come up with some ways that Justin Pearson apparently doesn't qualify. I apologize in advance for this next clip, but take a look.
I want to bring together different voices, dissenting voices, voices that may be more liberal or more conservative, in order that we can reach a point of sort of the radical middle, where conversation and dialogue happens and growth happens. Join the People's Pearson campaign, and let's chart ourselves to a better future.
I want to bring everyone together, said Justin Pearson, in a voice that if you closed your eyes, you could easily imagine coming from a suburban orthodontist. Justin Pearson wasn't white, that's probably how he got into Bowdoin in the first place, but he did a fantastic impression of it. What a nice young man. Has he considered the apprenticeship program at Citibank? That was the old Justin Pearson before his transition.
I honestly don't even know where to begin with that. We could start with the fact that suburban orthodontists are actually obviously only white, because if that's what you're like, then that means that you're white. It's a transition now. The fact that these schools are only for white people or people who want to become white to go to. The fact that if you close your eyes, he sounds white to Tucker Carlson. So I guess he doesn't get to be outspoken in the future. I mean, we could return to the point that he said that Justin Pearson talking through a bullhorn is an insurrection. He spent the last couple of years insisting that breaking through the windows and doors of the Capitol and leading to multiple deaths is not an insurrection. There was a lot of just insanely openly racist stuff. He gets to decide who is white, who is black. If you ever put on a tie or speak in a way that he thinks might result in you getting an internship, then in his eyes, he's not being explicit about it, you've lost something. You don't get to, I don't even know what. There's like a subtext here that his audience 100% gets and is ready for that I just find to be insanely disgusting. Anna, what do you think?
I agree that what he's saying, I mean, multiple portions of the two videos that you showed are beyond disgusting. Let me just start off with Tucker's shallow faux populism in mentioning that the school that the lawmaker went to is like a pricey school. We're not talking about college when we talk about Tucker Carlson. We're talking about from the beginning of his schooling, grade school to the very end. He spent, or his family, the Swanson Ayers family spent a ton of money. He went to the Buckley School, which currently costs $50,000 a year to go to. That's a grade school. He sits in the lap of luxury. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, yet he has the audacity to go after a black lawmaker for getting an education and probably taking out quite a bit of debt in order to do so. He then proceeds to assume that this intelligent man got into the school simply because of his skin color, simply because of affirmative action, because God forbid anyone acknowledge that there are plenty of intelligent people who get into these colleges and universities based on their own merit, people of color. It's just, this is who Tucker Carlson is. And I just wish that his show wasn't the most watched cable news show, because it's precisely this divisive garbage that prevents ordinary Americans from banding together to accomplish what we need to accomplish in this country, accomplish policies that allow for Americans to do well, to thrive, and to be happy. It's just pushing more hatred, more division, and it disgusts me all around.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that segment that you just saw is exactly why. It's the most watched one. He's the most willing to be open about it. I mean, he's receiving some challenges from the independent right-wingers who also know that they can just be openly homophobic, openly racist, openly misogynistic. And that's how you generate an audience and you get paid. He just said he probably only got into the college because he's not white.
Yeah, he just said it.
Based on what? I mean, look, Justin Pearson is a state legislator. Again, he led a protest. We can take issue, and we should take issue with every single thing that Tucker Carlson said about how he attacked him. But much more importantly, why is he attacking him? Mm-hmm. Why is the most watched cable news host spending a segment attacking this legislator? Because he's ridiculous? Because he's a clown? Because he has no influence and doesn't actually represent people? If that was the case, why attack him? Why at that point? They're attacking him for the same reason that the Republicans in that state legislature tried to expel him, because he's effective, because he's representing people. He said in that campaign video years and years ago that he was going to bring people together. He did. That's why they're attacking him. He brought together people who are sick of the actual status quo and want gun laws to change. That is why he's being attacked. Because Tucker Carlson, for all that, every 3 months or whatever, he'll talk about the elites. He'll say something that tries to imply that he's a populist. Is one of the most durable and reliable defenders of the status quo that there has ever been in American media. And why wouldn't he be? He has been a beneficiary of the status quo and expects to be for the rest of his life. He does not want people like Justin Pearson coming out and speaking in a passionate way, representing people's actual concerns and putting pressure on lawmakers to actually change something. He's not attacking him because he talked white in a video. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. He's attacking him for how effective he already has shown himself to be, and because of the massive rise in his power and influence that's come about as a result of the Republicans trying to knock him out of state government. That's what this is actually about.
What's also pretty interesting, though, is through his commentary, by assuming and pushing this notion that Pearson got into this college just based on his skin color, he's conditioning the audience to really underestimate lawmakers like him, which, I mean, go ahead and do that if you want. But I think your analysis is absolutely correct. I think that the effectiveness of these lawmakers is precisely why someone in the right-wing media bubble would push the kind of commentary that Tucker Carlson's pushing.
By the way, I want to add just one extra thing, because we're talking about like him saying like, oh, he only got in because he's not white or whatever, which is an argument that they will continually spread. It's to make poor conservatives who they despise and consider to be rubes believe like, oh, some people are getting away with stuff. They don't have to struggle and work like I do. You want an example of how people are actually getting away with stuff? I will remind you, maybe second now to the Trump text messages where he revealed that he hates him, despises him, considers him a demon. It is amazing that the MAGA movement did not turn on Tucker Carlson when it was revealed that he had appealed to Hunter Biden to help his kid get into Georgetown University. Oh, Justin Pearson is unfairly getting a leg up in college admissions. But when Tucker Carlson calls the son of a prominent Democratic politician to get his kid into Georgetown, well, that's just the way things are supposed to be. I guess that's not an issue. That's just populist stuff, baby. Why do you have a problem with that? It's amazing that none of this stuff actually bothers them. It's all a ruse. They're all buddies. They all go to the same nice dinners. They all get free admission to these colleges without having to actually compete for it.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.